my name is Barbara Nyarko, and I am a member of CAMF, Carnival Arts Masquerade Foundation. It's an umbrella organization that deals with the parading in Notting Hill Carnival.
Yeah.
I've been a member since 2005, and I have been on the board since 2009.
Okay, so the groups that I see from Ghana, the African groups that come into Notting Hill, that's really your organization. What's the name of the group?
It's Mas Africa.
Mas Africa.
But we haven't actually had a group from Ghana yet.
Okay.
We've facilitated groups from
Nigeria.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right, so now we're moving into the Nobles #1, and you will be surprised how much I'm going to be talking about Nobles #1 and Junkanew on Boxing Day, because I've done my research. I got so much information about that. So I'll be bringing up a lot of that, but Nobles #1 is been put in there in the history of Fancy Dress Party. Nobles #1 is supposed to be the key organization that started the whole thing. And I didn't know that. You just said to me, Nobles #1, I'm thinking, well, whatever. But then they're actual key in what happens in a thing.
Yes. So Janka Abrahams, my ancestor, who used to visit his cousin in Cape Coast around Christmas time, because they had a lot of festivals in Cape Coast. So Winneba was some kind of like, they didn't have any celebrations that was interesting like Cape Coast. So he sat down and thought, why don't we bring something like this to Winneba? And this is how Nobles #1 started. And because we come from the royal family, and so he had Nobles #1 was members were from like doctors.
Yeah.
It was the elite that participated.
Yeah.
In it. So
no, you're right, because I was shocked really when I read about it, because it was saying that one of the conditions to be a member, you need to be able to speak English.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an elite group. Yeah.
Yes, it was. So a strict rule was you don't show your face. Nobody, some people, I mean, you'd be standing next to your brother or cousin and you wouldn't know. So there was a strict rule of putting on a mask. And maybe it's because of their positions, the profession in life. They didn't want to people to recognize that they participated in something like this. But yeah, so mainly it was a day for them to let their hair down and be human, really.
I know. Now, talking about mask, right? You just say something that I would like to chat with you, because I've always say to people who do carnival, the difference between our, because what we do in Africa, if we bring it to the Caribbean, it's a carnival. But back home, it's not a carnival. It's a funeral, it's the chief, it's a wedding, it's everything like that. Now, my experience of the African dancers in Africa, compared to I always say to them, the Caribbean, when they are dancing with all their costumes, they want everybody to know who is there, who's wearing the costume. Back in Zimbabwe, Malawi, Ghana, if somebody's dancing that traditional dance with a mask, they don't want to know who's inside. So I always say to people, this is the difference between the Caribbean and the African. Am I right?
Yeah, because the whole purpose of this was to mimic the whites
masters,
and
not get punished.
Sometimes with the original mask wearing in Africa, you might know this, but you actually take on the spirit
spiritual,
whatever. It has a spiritual connotation. But with masquerade, at that time, people know your identity. It's to hide your identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, good. All right. So anyway, I mean, how excited are the guys to be involved with Junkanew? Because as I say, we sort of like doing it, but it's actually become a mixture between what happens in Ghana and what happens in Bahamas, and then we're putting in the English element. So this sort of Junkanew costume way is the same thing you do in Bahamas, same way you do in Ghana. But the songs, you all do different songs, because I've listened to I think it's Nobles or one of the groups actually playing one of the highlight tunes that I really love.
Yes.
And then the Bahamians, they do something else. So I mean, what I'm doing is we're joining those two together. Then we're including these elements that are missing. So one of them is lanterns. In England, they make a lot of lanterns. So I want to incorporate with that because it's a winter carnival. And then also we're incorporating the steel pan, but the one pan on the neck so that they are matching with you. So everything is acoustic. Everything is like really sustainable. So that's how we're going to take it.
Okay. I realized also that there was this project I embarked on dealing with the old citizens.
Yeah.
So we had luncheon every month for them to come around and talk about how they used to do in the olden days.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting. They had puppets, they had large costumes in the past.
Yeah.
But over the years, all of that, I'm not sure how. I mean, that we lost all of that.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that Nobles is trying to bring back. So in 2012, we had an international program. We brought over some masqueraders here to actually work with people like artists like Sunshine International, Ray Mahiber.
Ray Mahiber.
Yes, so they participated in other carnivals, Liverpool, is it? Yeah, Liverpool Carnival.
Yeah.
Just to enlighten them, for them to see what other carnivals do.
Yeah.
And bringing it back home, the old citizens were really amazed. They're like, yeah, this is what we used to do in the past. And they used to go on themes. Their costumes were based on themes.
Yeah.
And I kind of think we've missed that, and that's what we're trying to bring back.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, I have to tell you the truth. I think for me is here, I'm going to get killed for saying this thing really, but there is different types of carnivals. In this country, I find it so funny because, you know, somebody says if you go to Trinidad and you know, and Brazil and Venice and all that, carnival is happening throughout the whole country. So there's a carnival happening the same day in Leicester, as well as in Leeds, as well as in my same day and everybody. So if I walk into the street with my costume naked, people don't look at me funny because it's like that the whole country.
Yes.
So you come in England, I come from Notting Hill and I'm wearing my skimpy costume. As soon as I get out of the Notting Hill area, I'm an alien. It's like, what the heck is doing? So I always find people saying, oh, Pax, I hear you're starting a carnival and how, please don't make it same day as us. Why? We need to have more and more carnival in one place at the same time. That's why I think carnival in this country hasn't done much of an impact because it's just known as one, it's just known as Notting Hill. You yourself, you have seen it. If you go out in the country, there's some very interesting carnival. There's a lot of opportunities for the Caribbean and the Asian to mix through these things that we're doing. A lot of opportunity for the white and the Caucasian to mix up with the Brazilians, to mix up with the so. But because the way it's done in such a way, it's like, no, do it, we do yours, I do mine in Derby and so on. I think that sort of thing. So I'm hoping Junkanew, because we are coming with certain elements that people don't usually incorporate. So I'm hoping to be a way where people can come like what you're saying and just sort of say, listen, Pax, this particular thing is a dying trade. Is it possible to incorporate with Junkanew? As long as it is like really sustainable, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we are hoping this is a platform for those people, because there's quite a lot of people, very good artists I know, who are leaving carnival because they're scared of the politics or they don't particularly agree on particular things and so on. So there need to be some options for people to go to. Yes,
I agree. With fancy dress, Junkanew is also known, it started off as fancy dress.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I lived in Takoradi when I was young. And that was the first time I saw fancy dress.
Yes.
And it was around Christmas. So 25th, they come, they visit from house to house.
Yeah.
And perform. And that happens, I think it happens across the country. So they've got the Tema. Tema has fancy dress there. they've got the Takoradi, they've got Cape Coast.
Yeah.
And actually other regions are asking us to, you know, set something like that up in their towns as well. So it's growing. But it all happens around the same time, around Christmas time.
Yes.
So it's the 25th, 26th. But then Winneba Masqueraders have this competition on the 1st of January every year.
Yeah.
With new costumes. Yeah.